Hey guys, welcome back to the Nerdy Gritty, where we delve deep into the details of pop culture. I am Dez.
And I'm Fox.
And we are recording in a new place right now.
Yep.
We've actually been bouncing around a lot with our recordings.
A little bit.
So again, this room is not very soundproof.
Yeah,
but
it's fine.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I'm sure the sound will be fine.
Nothing's going to reach where we were for the first 10 weeks. So
I know, right?
Can't just...
Well, until we get our own studio, of course.
Yeah, until our studio opens up.
We rent it.
2019.
Right.
Making it happen.
I think maybe like 2119.
Yeah.
If we keep at the pace of AdSense that we've got right now.
Hey. Yeah.
Yeah.
Only 6 more years until we can actually access any of that money.
So AdSense is something that on YouTube, if somebody clicks on an ad on your YouTube channel, you get a portion of that, you know,
it's how you make money being a YouTuber.
Well, it's one of the many ways.
That's like the YouTube way.
Right. So, so we get some money. We think we've got up to like $12 right now,
Maybe.
something like that.
Probably that much. We've gotten a pretty decent average over the last 30, like, a couple months.
But
for us,
you are not allowed to access any of that money until you have at least $100.
Right. So yeah,
it's gonna be a while for
anyway.
us. What are you up to?
Oh, I'm first.
No, I'm first.
Okay,
because you have a lot to say.
No, I don't. I have one thing. Well, okay, go ahead.
Yeah, I know.
What have you been up to these days?
As you know, I've been playing Scribblenauts Unlimited,
right? Which I have platinumed.
Yeah,
because I love Scribblenauts.
It's a lot of fun.
It's such a cool idea.
I played Scribblenauts on my phone a while back, and it was good. But playing it on the computer, where you have like a legit keyboard and everything, is so much better,
fun,
so much easier, and it's great, man. Mm-hmm. And then just little things like I found out like 2 or 3 episodes in, I should just make myself wings all the time. Mm-hmm. Why am I walking anywhere?
Yeah, why don't I just constantly have a jetpack?
Yeah. And so I'm using the ninja.
Yeah.
Shadow is his name. And then I give him a red ninja mask, a red katana, and red bat wings. And he looks awesome.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like all the little like interactions between things that you can discover in that game, or just little jokes that they have in it.
I also like that they're like unintentionally pretty morbid. Like there'll be things that it's like, you know, feed this cannibal. And so I'm like, I don't know,
okay,
baby. And so I typed in baby, and then it disappears and the cannibal eats it. And I'm like, oh.
I feel bad right now. That baby just got ate.
I fed a baby to a cannibal. That's something that I just did in Scribblenauts Unlimited.
Yeah, it's pretty great.
So the other thing that hasn't started yet, but I have convinced my wife, we haven't started yet, so I'm not guaranteeing this, she may change her mind, to record Lego Batman 3 with me. And I'm very excited about
Lego Batman.
It's, well, we platinumed Lego Indiana Jones together.
I've platinumed 5 different Lego games now.
Yeah.
I love the Lego games.
They're so much fun.
They're all the same, and they're all great.
Exactly.
Yep.
All right. What about you, Fox?
A couple things. This week, I saw the movie Lady Bird, which was very, very, very good.
Really?
Very good.
Was it better than Superman versus Batman, though?
Yes. Yeah. I liked it more than Star Wars 8. It might be one of the best movies I've seen in the last year. Not better than Logan.
That good, huh?
Yes.
Not better than Logan.
Not better than Logan.
You like Logan more than I did, then, I would say.
Yeah, I think Logan was the best movie of the year.
Logan was very, very good, but it's not like there are movies better than it.
Okay, but that's fair.
Yeah,
but Lady Bird, if you don't know, it's kind of an Oscar type movie. Like it's just about
it's made to win awards and stuff.
Yeah. I mean, it doesn't mean it's not good, but
it means it is good.
Specifically released at a time when it's all about Oscar season,
right?
But it's about a 17-year-old girl in Sacramento, California. It's just a coming of age tale. It's her senior year of school. She's basically like dealing with having boyfriends and figuring out where to go to college.
You've dealt with that before.
And she has a mom who is mean, but
not a bad mom.
Well-meaning.
Yeah.
Like, just, it does such a good job of treating every character like a real person. Tiny little side characters, you get a brief glimpse into why they act the way they do. Like, and it's a fast-moving movie. Those moments that would typically be in any random coming of age tale, you'd have that dramatic moment where, oh no, that person died. How do I deal with it? Or, oh no, this happened to me. Oh no, I'm not getting into college. What do I do? And it's like, oh, movie. And this, everything, even if it was a dramatic moment, was basically like, okay, it happened. Now we're moving on, and it'll affect the characters and it'll affect her, and it has.
So it's much more realistic.
But
in
it
that
just
way.
feels like
Much more
this is
natural.
how life works. You don't really
That's
have
cool.
that moment in your life where you're like, when you're in the moment, this is changing everything. In the past, you can look and see like, oh, that was a moment, that was a big deal in my life, and that's kind of what it felt.
No, actually, when I think something's going to impact me, I actually get my phone out and play some background music, and I'll like stare into the middle distance.
Look off into the twin suns.
Yeah, I'll poke one eye until one tear falls out of one eye.
Yeah. So Lady Bird, go see it.
Huh.
It's not really a movie theater movie. Like you don't. It's a coming of age drama.
Right.
You don't have to see it in the theaters, but go see it. I am playing Duke Nukem 3D.
I'm so
right
sorry.
Now. Duke Nukem 3D is really fun. You don't.
I played Duke Nukem 3D on a PC
I played it on the N64
in like
way back when.
1990, I think, or something, or maybe 1992 or whatever.
It's definitely not the best first-person shooter from way back when.
Oh no, I just remember game start. I'm here to kick ass and chew bubblegum, and I'm all out of gum.
Yeah.
Do you know where that comes from?
It's from. Is that not an Evil Dead line?
No, it's not an Evil Dead line.
Where's that from?
It's from a movie that I don't remember the name of, but Rowdy Roddy Piper, the 80s and 90s wrestler.
Oh, okay.
Rowdy Roddy Piper,
different guy.
is the main character in this, and it was like this epic B movie, this total B movie, and he finds out that like aliens have invaded the Earth, but they all have disguises. But there are special sunglasses that you can wear to let you see them. And so he's walking around with sunglasses on, like Ray-Bans, the entire movie. And then he just walks into a bank where it's all the aliens, and he's got 2 machine guns.
That might legitimately be what Duke Nukem is based on, because you wear sunglasses the whole time.
That's true.
And all of the enemies, like the pigs, look like cops. Like they're wearing cop uniforms.
That's right. It might
I mean,
be.
actually, no. There's like giant alien things, but still, like maybe they kind of took a little bit more than just that line. But I'm playing that, and it's a throwaway fun. It's fun, but it's whatever.
Right.
One other thing, the Dragon Ball Fighters with a Z beta started today.
I'm so excited.
And it's supposed to be today and tomorrow, but apparently, and in my experience, it's a worldwide thing apparently, but it just doesn't work. The beta, like, it doesn't connect to the servers.
I'm guessing part of it is that 100 gajillion people are trying to connect at the same time.
How do they not expect that?
The same thing happened to Pokemon.
How do they?
What did you think was going to happen?
You literally, this is the closest we can actually be to an actual Pokemon trainer, and you didn't expect the world to want to play
these two, like Pokemon's like, oh, probably the world's most popular animated feature ever. And then Dragon Ball Z, probably the second most popular animated feature in the world. I wonder if it's going to be popular.
Yeah.
I wonder
come
if people,
on, guys.
Yeah, for real.
Anyway, I'm still excited to play it, but come on, guys. Just
it looks so
get your crap together.
So
it looks
good.
so beautiful.
Get your poop in a group.
I literally started watching Dragon Ball Super to kind of know who some of the characters are.
Is it good? I haven't seen it at all
I've
yet.
watched the first 2 episodes, and basically, did you ever watch the movies, the new ones?
Yeah.
I didn't see Return of F, the Frieza one. But
right.
I saw the God, Super Saiyan God, or whatever it was. A Battle of the Gods.
Yeah, Battle of the Gods.
I hated that one.
Really?
Because it was like lame. Like most of it was just stupid, like filler. But it was more like, hey, remember these characters that you love? So the actual show, as far as I can tell, kind of goes through those movies, but in a longer way. And then there's more. And the only 2 episodes I've seen, Beerus is in there, but doesn't do much. And not a lot's happened, but it is fun to watch. Just same characters, and it's only like 3 months after Z. So
I saw all of Dragon Ball, Dragon Ball Z, and all of Dragon Ball GT, and all of the movies before they came out with any new ones or Super or anything like that. I was the biggest Dragon Ball Z fan. The way that I can rattle off Batman and like other trivia.
Sure.
I was trying to think of something that I knew. Thank you. That was the other thing I was trying to think of. Batman and Star Wars trivia. I used to be able to do that in Dragon Ball Z as well. But
yeah, I was pretty
anymore.
disappointed about that beta, but I'm still very excited for the game because it only comes out. It's 12 days till it comes out, and I'm really
I'm so excited.
Yeah.
Okay. But that is not what we're really talking about
Right.
today, although betas are kind of what we're talking about today. Well, actually,
in a
today's going to
way.
be a rapid-fire episode.
We've got a few things that we want to talk about. Nothing huge, but
Yeah, truth be told is we have several things that are on our brains, but we don't know if all of them are going to take up an entire episode. So, I mean, we may end up talking about one thing the entire time. It's
true.
But I doubt it.
we'll find out.
And so we've got a few things, but
It's a mystery episode.
speaking of beta, but not beta, actually early access
Right.
is what I'm thinking. So one thing that we saw when we were watching the Game Awards about a month back is that PUBG was nominated for a lot of stuff,
Including Game of the Year.
including Game of the Year, which it is a great game.
I have played several games of it now.
Yeah, how do you like it?
I enjoy it. I'm not a multiplayer guy,
Right.
but I had extra money on a gift card, and I was like, well, however many people can't be wrong. They can't. But anyway,
They can.
they can. It's a fun game. My internet connection is not good enough to really get the most out of it. I have to turn settings super far down too.
Boo.
But I played with a friend online, and that was great
Yeah.
because he knew what he was doing. And
Was it
so he
Josh?
was like, yeah, it was Josh.
Yeah.
And he was like, let's go here. And I was like, all right. And so I survived a lot longer with him. I got to I think I was 18th or something like that in that
Nice.
one.
Wow.
But I also, during that match, it wasn't that the internet connection dropped. It was that the game just stopped working. You know, when you get
Yeah.
not responding?
Yeah.
That happened and the game closed. I was still on Discord with Josh.
Oh, no.
And I was like, yeah, Josh, by the way, this is happening. And he's like, oh, okay, you might be able to jump back in. So I had to wait for it to exit out,
Right.
reopen the game, reconnect to everything, and just jump right back in the same game.
Yeah,
It
you
was
can.
fine.
Yeah,
it
you
was
can do
awesome.
that, which is really cool.
So
That's well done of them.
That happened. But,
No, our buddy Josh has a fridge full of chicken dinners. That dude is.
oh, I see.
Yeah, he is.
Right, 'cause
He's
that's-
good at that game.
But yeah, it's fun. But anyway, yeah, it was nominated for lots of things, and I understand why. It's very popular,
great
and it's
game.
a well-made game. But the question we want to ask, or the idea we want to talk about, is whether or not a early access game, a game that is technically not complete,
Right.
they went to 1.0 recently after the Game Awards, but it's now 1.0, so it's technically been released.
Right.
Should a incomplete game be considered for awards?
Because when you have the title early access on it or beta, Minecraft was in beta mode.
A very
Minecraft
long
was
time.
in alpha mode
Right.
for a long time. I played it when it was in alpha.
Yeah.
Then it went to beta, and it was in beta for years.
A long time.
Yeah, and then it finally released. And I don't even know if Mojang still owned it when it finally released. I want
No, it went to
was.
1.0. Mojang owned it at 1.0, and then Microsoft bought it at some point. I'm
Right.
paying a lot of Microsoft.
For $4
Minecraft
billion.
lately. A lot of money.
Yeah.
Now, yeah. So the question is, should a game that is incomplete by the game maker's own standard?
Right. They purposely put
They
that
are
title on
saying
there.
we have not finished this game. Should we be giving that game accolades and awards that aren't best upcoming or best, early access game?
So let me give my 2 cents. And here's the truth: is I'm not settled on a yes or no.
Yeah, me neither.
I lean toward no because, and I know they're not going to do this, but when you put the tag early access on there, they have the opportunity. They have every chance to come in and say, you know what? We don't really like the way this is working.
Yes.
Or, you know what? This is really taxing our team. And so we're going to have to pull back on this. Or,
Yeah.
you know what? We're not making as much money as we want. Loot boxes aren't making us as much money as we thought. And so we're having to let some guys go.
Yep.
And so we're closing down some or whatever. So when the game actually releases, when we move to 1.0, it's not quite going to be the game that you thought it was.
Right. It's going to be different.
Right.
And I'm going to give an example of a game that kind of changed in a decently significant way from early access to full release, which was a game called Starbound. If you've played Terraria, it's essentially
Right.
a sci-fi Terraria
Yeah.
in gameplay. I like it more than Terraria because it's got better questing and more story to it. I actually haven't played Terraria in a while, but I really like Starbound. But I played it when it was in beta and loved it. It was really enjoyable. And then put it away for a while, came back to it after it had fully released. I saw that it was it's not early access anymore. Let's check it out. And it was significantly different. Not the game, the core game, the core like mechanics were all basically still there. The crafting, the exploring, the different planets, being able to travel through this universe was basically all the same. But like, there's an actual story now. There were quests, like all these things that made it more of an actual game, in my opinion, like where you have things to do and something to move you forward and like things to complete rather than just a sandbox to explore.
Right.
Those were then added, and it felt like a new, not just like the next update, but like a new version of the game.
Right.
Like, it felt like this isn't beta anymore. This is the actual game. And so if we were to like nominate Starbound when it was in like, 0.8 and then give it an award for being that, and then it came out at 1 and it's a significantly different game, are we nominating this? Is it the same game?
It's a different game at that point.
It's basically a different game in a lot of ways.
And whether or not it got better or worse or whatever, like, it could have gotten better, but it's still not the same game.
It's not the same.
Yeah, and so, for example, like Minecraft. I played the crap out of Minecraft Alpha and into the early beta. I mean, just played the crap out of it. And I remember when they were finally like, we're going to add a few enemies, a few different types, enemy types. And I'm like, okay, I kind of liked rarely facing it. I kind of liked it being the surprise, but all right, you're going to populate some more things. We're going to add the nether. Like,
a whole new world.
Yeah. A whole
dimension.
New world. I'm like, okay, I get that's cool.
Sure. And then you don't have to ever go there.
Right, yeah. And then they're like, story mode, or not story mode, that's Minecraft story mode is Telltale.
Completely different
but RPG. Like, there's like quests and things like that you can do now.
Okay, so I've been playing
Visit
it recently,
a village.
And there are villages, there are kind of like quests, but there aren't really quests. Like, it's not really the same. Right. But anyway,
But my point is, when I started playing it, it was basically around two things: exploration and building, and that was it.
You're right.
Sometimes you fought because you wanted to get to that thing, and there was, of course, this creative mode now. You're like, oh, you like the building? Do creative mode. And I'm like, no, I liked finding something, like earning my way to that diamond sword.
Yeah, I never play creative, even if I'm in it to build stuff.
Absolutely.
It's
like,
more fun
I want to earn it.
Yes.
And so then they come in, and I can't do that anymore. The Minecraft that I loved and went into, I can't really do that anymore. It's difficult. It's not the same.
Now, I will tell you, it's been a while since you've played, right?
Yes, years.
There are a billion different options for how the game is played now.
Oh, really?
You can go in and be like, I want peaceful mode, no enemies at all. I just want to explore. I want, this percentage, like this high chance of finding a diamond or this low chance. Like, you can manipulate evereverying in the game, which mostly is unnecessary.
100% just raining
everything
diamonds
is diamonds. I'm so good at this. Woo! I found all the diamonds. They've done a good job of being able to play Minecraft exactly how you want to play it.
Oh, that's pretty cool. Yeah, I didn't know that.
But it is still, if you're just playing vanilla, whatever the vanilla is at that time, because you are playing a very different game than what it used to be.
Yeah. And so, again, many would say that it's better than it used to be.
Yes.
In a lot of, and that's fine. That's great. But it's not the game that I played. And therefore, were it to have won awards when I played it, it's not the same game anymore.
Right.
It's a different game now. And so it's difficult at that point to nominate early access. Now, I'm not saying we shouldn't do early access, because the entire purpose of early access is, hey, I think this is going to be a really good game.
Give me some feedback.
But I don't have the money.
Right.
So if you can start buying it now,
and we should talk about early access as a concept at some point.
Right.
Because there's a lot of pros and cons on each side.
Right.
That's not really what we want to get into right now. But yeah, it's I have another reason why I don't think I lean toward no also.
Okay.
But largely more for the idea that it was very I loved Breath of the Wild so much. It was hard for me to like see Breath of the Wild and even PUBG. Odyssey and these things next to PUBG, both because PUBG has so little in it comparatively. Like, I understand it takes time. I'm not saying it doesn't take effort or time. I've recently watched an interview with Player Unknown, whatever his name is, on NoClip. By the way, go watch NoClip in documentaries. It's a YouTube channel. incredible documentaries.
Fox sends me videos all the time of them, and I gotta say, man, I have watched 0 of them so far.
There was a 6-part documentary on the Witcher series, not just Witcher 3, detailing like how CD Projekt Red started, the like political situation that grew, like the video game industry grew out of in Czechoslovakia, or not Czechoslovakia, but Poland, and like it's so cool to see where like this guy who's created Witcher 3 was the guy 30 years ago burning copies of discs to sell underground of games because the communist regime wouldn't allow those games. Like, that guy is now making Witcher 3. And anyway, no clip is awesome. Go watch it. But it's hard for me to see those two, PUBG and Breath of the Wild, next to each other, because PUBG has so much less in it and takes less time to make. I'm just going to throw that out there.
Yeah,
there's not as much effort into it. And Zelda came out and said, here is Breath of the Wild. There might have been a patch or two to fix some bugs. Of course, all games have that now. But this is what we made. Please enjoy. And an early access game is, here's what we made. Please enjoy. Also realize it probably will be very different in the future.
Right.
Like, you're getting into it knowing that this game will be different, and it's not like you are beta testing it. And to give a game that's in beta an award for Game of the Year next to a game game like Breath of the Wild that is like a revolutionary game,
right?
Not only in that year, but in the history of video games, that takes like pre-established ideas of what the art can do or the art has done and just like change them, like change how you view what an open world is, and
absolutely
give it a beautiful art style and like characters that you care about and want to see succeed and all these things. Like, it's just so hard for me to see those two being treated as equals.
Well, and here's the thing, that's a unfair, I would say, because, and I think you and I agree on this, Breath of the Wild is one of the greatest games ever made.
Sure.
Ever made.
Yes.
Odyssey is a very, very good game.
Right.
Those two things are going to be nominated for the Game of the Year. You have to put other games there as well.
You do.
And so to me, it's more like, I think the fair comparison would be like PUBG and Horizon Zero Dawn. Now, it's still tough to put those next to each other. Horizon Zero Dawn is a more challenging and better game.
It's a better game in every way.
But
they're different categories.
I think that's a more fair comparison than PUBG and Breath of the Wild.
Well, to me, it's also like, seriously, like, what were there 5 games nominated for Game of the Year? Probably.
Yeah, I don't remember what the 5th one was.
Were there legitimately not? There was Nier Automata.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Were there legitimately not one more that wasn't an early access that could be considered revolutionary?
Yeah, exactly.
Was Senua's Sacrifice not nominated for Game of the Year?
No,
because it should have been over PUBG.
It had some bugs. It did. Nothing game breaking.
Go play PUBG and tell me it doesn't have bugs, Steve.
Fair.
I'm okay looking past bugs. I think a Game of the Year is more than just its technical quality. Yeah. Although technical quality has to be there. If it's an unplayable game, it doesn't matter how good their intentions were or how good the story they wrote if I can't see it. Like, if I can't play it. But like, it just like really it seemed like it was nominated based on popularity in the audience, which is fair because people love it. It's an interactive medium, and so if people love a game, you're gonna want it. Like, it's gonna be one of the games of the year for the people. But
I mean, but if you're gonna say that, you have to say the same thing about movies. And I mean, like, Transformers still makes $1 billion, but it should never be nominated for anything other than a Razzie.
Right, and that's why, and it probably was, and that's why we have, like, industry people decide on the nominations. People who are, like, not just fans of games, although they're people who create them, people who are, like, you know, artists who are creative people who understand what it takes to make a game, what it takes to write such a good story, what it takes to create characters that you enjoy, like that kind of thing. It should be about what they see as the best rather than a fan.
Yep.
Because, like you're saying, money and sales do not equal quality.
And you know what? The more that I think about it, I think everything that we said this far is true. But I'm like, well, why should it be nominated? And I'm like, I mean, it's good.
It's popular.
but it's right there on the title. It says early access, so it's declaring it's not done.
Right.
Give it a chance. Make it win awards. Like give it an opportunity, but wait till it says it's done.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So I think I'm landing pretty firmly.
Oh, no. I absolutely don't think it should have been nominated.
Yeah.
I understand a little bit why.
Yeah.
It is a good game for what it does. Nothing in it is new or revolutionary. There have been Battle Royale modes in games before. The guy who created it, basically, that's been his, like, game-making career.
Right.
Is creating, I think, in DayZ or, like, Arma, maybe. He was a guy who created modes of Battle Royale, basically what PUBG was.
I'm going to defend PUBG for a second. I'm going to interrupt you and defend PUBG because here's what PUBG did that no other game has done, and it created near perfect balance. In that I, as a guy who has literally never played PUBG before in my life, it is very possible for me to jump in, parachute into a place that nobody just happens to go around, happen to find all the best guns, and happen to only see 2 or 3 people the entire game, kill them because I have the best guns, and get like 18th. I'm not going to win, of course, but get a decent number.
It's possible. It's unlikely.
But it's possible.
It's possible, but you'd have to be very lucky. And remember, you have to get to a certain place. You're not just wandering. You are forced to move.
The circle is the ultimate equalizer.
Right. It's great. It's a good mechanic because those games would take hours and hours if everybody just wandered. I'm sure there is.
Right.
They should, if they don't have it, they should have like a
circle-less game.
They should have a game where you just play. Maybe a time limit, but
they have one. They have like not a mode where, but if you were hosting, you can adjust all the settings and everything, and so you can turn the speed of the circle and the timing of the circle way down.
I would enjoy that more.
Yeah, and so there's a lot less circle worry.
Yep.
But really, I think PUBG is almost like a collectible card game. Where like Magic the Gathering,
there is a
else.
random RNG to it. Where
yes, there is. You got to pray to RNGs sometimes and hope that you get exactly what you need or whatever else. And you could be our buddy Josh and land and holy crap, I'm only finding pistols. It's been 10 minutes and I can find nothing but pistols and no backpacks. I haven't found a backpack yet. You know what I mean?
It's perfectly possible.
Yeah, it's possible. And so, but skill will win most often.
Sure.
The circle's the ultimate equalizer. So PUBG, what is different than most battle royales is the whole idea of parachuting in creates this randomness to it. The circle is its ultimate equalizer where there's no camping anymore. You can't just camp. The whole thing is done really well. It's elements that have been taken from other battle royale games, but I think it has done it the best. It has made it the most balanced battle royale game ever created. And for guys who are just jumping in, we need that.
Yeah.
We need there to be some sort of balance.
Should the game itself be nominated for the greatest game of the year? No.
I'm not going to say yes or no because I'm not a shooter guy. It'd be as if, a fighting game got not or a sports game.
Sure.
I don't know. I'm not really a sports guy.
I'm just talking like we're talking about, like it's an early access. It's like
early access.
It's like if an Emmy was given to us like a show halfway through its first season.
Exactly. That's like a great way of putting
9 episodes were awesome.
Yeah, absolutely.
You have no idea where the story is going to go, and it could get real crappy real fast.
That is the perfect metaphor.
And then you will regret giving that award to that show.
Absolutely, it would become a debacle. After that.
So tell us what you think. I almost just ruined everything. We're okay. We're okay. Tell us what you think about PUBG being nominated. If you think we're noobs.
Well, in early access games altogether.
Yeah.
And let's be clear. We're not saying PUBG is a bad game.
Oh, no.
It's a very good game.
As somebody who doesn't play multiplayer, I have enjoyed what I've done.
Yeah.
What I've played in PUBG.
We're just saying the title early access literally means it's not done, and it could change drastically, and therefore should not be nominated.
Risky.
Yep. Okay. So, one other thing we want to talk. So that's it. Let us know. We can't end here because it'd be a really short episode. We have 2 other things we'd like to talk about, but I don't know if we have time for both.
Okay.
Which one do you want to pick?
Well, I could just briefly talk about the AC one.
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah. So
AC Slater is a character from Saved by the Bell.
Saved by the Bell.
Right.
He recently okay, I don't even know where to go with that. Anyway,
he's very handsome.
Assassin's Creed Origins came out several months ago.
Yep.
It was a really fun game. I have played a lot of it. Beautiful world. story is actually pretty decent compared to other Assassin's Creed games, even though it's kind of just a revenge story. Characters are really likable. Bayek is probably one of my favorite Assassin's Creed characters, aside from Ezio.
That's everybody's favorite.
Well, because he's awesome.
Okay, you ready for
Assassin's Creed 2 is the best Assassin's Creed.
I've never played a single Assassin's Creed game.
You're the one.
I am the one.
You're missing out on some of them, and the other ones, don't worry about it. But anyway, so they've recently, a couple weeks ago, I saw a news thing. Basically, they have created a mode in the game. You can turn off combat. Assassin's Creed Origins, you can play it. Okay, take this seriously, Des. Stop just spinning around in your chair. Anyway, you can play the game entirely peacefully. You will not be attacked by guards. You can walk wherever you want. You will not be attacked by wild animals. And they've made it... They've done such a good job that they created this mode in order for it to be used as a learning tool in classrooms. To be able... For teachers to be able to, like, load it up and explore the ruin... Like, not the ruins... a recreation of what ancient Egypt would look like. Assassin's Creed Origins world is kind of like a condensed version of Egypt.
Right.
It's one of my favorite game worlds I've ever been in because A, it's beautiful looking, and B, it is like, it feels like a place. People are doing things. The cities are varied. Like, they took a lot of time and effort in creating unique and different looking cities. Like, very cool looking. And I don't really have a thing to, like, say about this. I just really appreciate, A, the time it took to put that effort into, and B, the how I guess Ubisoft is coming alongside teachers and using their video game in a way that's more than just an entertainment value. It would be fine if it just was, but this is like using games as a education tool.
Absolutely.
And it's something that doesn't get used as often as it should.
And that's something that why I'm glad you brought this. I want to talk about it is because the idea of putting games in classrooms is something that I think is long overdue.
Yes.
It is we've been watching movies in classrooms for years.
Yep.
But movies aren't interactive. Like, I remember watching, a big old, like, half an hour video of just clips of vehicle accidents, because of
awesome.
driver's ed.
Okay.
It was things like, there are brains, here is blood. Like, it was meant
like a scary.
It's
type?
exactly what it is.
Okay.
It's a scare tactic thing.
Gotcha.
It was disgusting. And then I remember watching Saving Private Ryan in my history class. Like,
That's a good movie to watch.
Absolutely.
It's going to affect you.
And there are just so many movies that I've seen in school.
Right.
Video games are interactive.
Right. Why not then play Medal of Honor Frontline and live through D-Day instead of just watching it?
Absolutely.
But be a gunner.
You can do that,
but
if it's in schools, it's preset on, like, the hardest mode, where one shot actually kills you.
Yeah,
and you have to run through it, and, like, you get real frustrated. Like, I keep dying in, like, the first 10 seconds. Like, yeah, that's probably what 100,000 soldiers said.
Most likely what would have happened to you if you were on the beach.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Or I remember as a kid playing Oregon Trail. And
really?
So Oregon Trail, the computer game.
Sure, the original.
Yeah, and because it's accurate, and I remember we'd always get so frustrated because we'd always die of dysentery. Like, oh, you died. Oh, you died. Oh, you died. And the teacher one day had to explain to us, no, that's because most people died on the way to Oregon.
Right.
Like, the game is accurate.
It is not hard. It's real.
Yeah. And so it's this thing that I learned about traveling from one side to the other of the nation,
right,
in a time where there's no cars or freeways or shops to pull over
a river was like, oh no.
Yeah, and I learned from that. These days we have the most beautiful, realistic, interactive systems that we've ever had in our life, and people are like, video games are for kids,
toys for babies.
Yeah. So I love this idea of taking something that is in its core interactive and saying, now interact with the very history we're talking about.
Yes. Yeah, like, we're going through our unit on ancient Egypt. When the Ptolemies were in power, and we're bringing Roman influence into Greek and Roman influence into Egypt.
Yep.
Here's that city that we just talked about. Let's walk around in it and take a look at what the temples looked like.
If they could even do like a like a flight, like a camera mode.
Where
you can just pan around the city. That might
actually be a thing if I remember. I don't have the article in front of me or anything, but that might be a thing.
Where you can just, like, instead of having to slowly walk around, where you can just pan out and take a look at the whole city and then move it wherever you need to go. Or you can even say, for homework, you can either A, find some maps of the pyramids of Giza online and, draw them out, or B, you can play Assassin's Creed Origins if you own the game and map out the places that you go to and what happens.
Go through Origins and take some screenshots of historically significant places. And if they're nice looking screenshots, you'll get a couple bonus points.
Yeah.
Take some time to really play this game.
And I love it. And that, to me, you can learn from that.
Yeah, it'd be great.
You really can.
They even, bonus thing about this. It was announced, I think it was right after the game came out. There is a chamber in one of the pyramids that is in the game that hadn't been announced to the public as a discovery yet. Ubisoft legitimately talked to archaeologists and they told them, like, yeah, we just discovered this. And so...
But they didn't announce it to the public yet?
And then after the game came out, like, they didn't announce it. I don't know. They might have actually made a deal like, hey, don't announce this to the public until our game. And so somebody on Twitter was like, no way. This is like, they called it. This chamber is there. And in real life, they just announced that. And Ubisoft, they responded. They were just like, yeah, we knew about it. Like, yeah, it's cool. We talked to them.
Oh, you didn't know?
Yeah, which is a cool thing. Take time, and there are lots of games that do this, but they're mostly like Hearts of Iron.
Yeah.
Or like these like super in-depth
Rome Total War. RTSs are usually the way to do it.
Which could be useful. Absolutely. 100%, but it's definitely not as engaging.
Right.
Or takes... Assassin's Creed Origins is a pretty accessible game. You're going to have a kid in your class who knows how to play video games and can pick up an Assassin's Creed, even if he's never played this one, and know how to play it.
And I guarantee you that kid is probably going to learn from that game about Egypt a lot more than he's going to learn from reading out of a textbook.
Right. So game companies, do this more.
Yeah, absolutely.
Take the time to make your game and use it. Prove those people who say that these games are for kids wrong.
I agreed. On the note of interactive video games in a school, this is the third subject we want to talk about today, and we got time. We can talk about this for a bit. Good. Yeah, for sure. So something that's happening right now in some schools is there is a game, quote unquote, game is not even the right term for it, an interactive
it is technically
program,
a game.
Right, in which you play as a teacher. There is an artificial intelligence shooter that is attacking your school. Your job as the teacher is to protect yourself and protect your students. And there are so many things you can do. You can try to take your students from room to room. You can try and take your students into a place and turn. You can do all kinds of crazy things. And now there are the things that like they're taught to do and they're told to do, but those don't always work. Just like that's naturally going to happen. It's not always going to work. And this teaches teachers, how do I adapt to this specific situation?
Right.
Now, this AI shooter will react to you. If one kid is trailing and he sees that kid in the background, he'll start chasing after you guys. Like, it's it's video game AI. It's well made.
As far as I know, if I remember correctly, you can play as the shooter.
Yes, you can also play as the shooter.
Right.
And so, because again, you can play as the shooter because at that point think like your enemy. So you're getting this idea like, okay, if my goal is to find these students, what do I want to do? What am I going to do to do that? And so then you can think about that. Okay, if he's going to be thinking this, what do I do instead?
Sure.
And the whole idea of it is for teachers to play and to say, this is how I'm going to react to this.
Right. This is not a game that has been put in, like, it's not something you can go download.
No, not at all.
This is a tool used by schools.
So what I ask you, Fox, is would you say this is appropriate? That's one of the complaints is like, this is super inappropriate. Like taking this and turning it into a computer program. Again, I hesitate to use the word game by any means.
Sure, it's a game in name only.
Right.
You are interacting with a virtual world.
Yeah.
I don't know if you remember, but a few months ago, we talked about controversy in games. We talked about games like Hatred. We talked about, remember there was, after the Las Vegas shooting, there was some douchebag that created a game.
A mod.
Immediately after it. And we talked about, like, should that be allowed? And my opinion from then, and which is probably pretty similar to what I think now, if it is done in a constructive way, in an educational way, I probably said in that episode, yeah, I'd be okay with that.
Mm-hmm.
I like the idea of being able to learn from these situations using the medium of games.
Absolutely.
Yes, it could be seen as inappropriate. I don't agree with that, largely because it's being used as a tool by professional, like educators and administrators and law enforcement, and not just like, hey, go on Steam and download this game and now we'll play it in our classroom. Like that, if it comes to that, yeah, that's not okay. Like that's like a fantasy fulfillment type thing for kids.
Absolutely.
Then. And I very much hesitate to say that games teach you how to be violent, but that is one specifically designed to teach how teachers are supposed to react in those situations.
Right.
And so if there is a kid who is interested in committing a crime, he could use that to learn. Because
the AI is programmed intelligently to react like
it is what that game is for. And so I'm not saying that game would make the kid violent. It could be used,
but it could help.
Right. So I love the idea of it, though.
I agree.
Why would this be inappropriate? And somebody like coming in and explaining to teachers like, hey, this is what school shooters do. Here's how you why is that not inappropriate?
Right. I think that the people who are decrying this as an inappropriate usage are just people that, and I'm not saying they're ignorant or dumb or anything like that. What I am saying is that they're from a different age. Yes. And they're thinking to themselves, video games are for kids, and you are making this childish.
Yeah.
When the truth of the matter is, if, like you said, if there's a speaker that came in, or if they watched a movie on it, it would all be, that would all be just fine.
Yep.
This is just the newest
it's the new medium. Technology.
Yeah, the newest technology
that's being used.
And it's a new way to teach. But the reason I like this so much is because of the interaction of it, the ability to think on your feet.
Yeah.
I in the article, it didn't say anything specific. I don't know if it said that the school is designed to be that specific school or not. I don't think it was. Yeah, but if they start releasing these where they have like some tech guys just mapping out each school, that'd be very, very cool.
Basic
and so at any point you could just be like, okay, the shooter's over there. I know that I saw him or I heard him, and therefore I know that this back hallway is going to lead us to safety.
Right.
A+. Especially coming from a guy who just a few years ago, a school in which my students go to, there was a shooting and 2 students died in this shooting. And I had a lot of students that were on campus right when it happened and like talked about hearing gunshots and things like that. And they were all impacted in a lot of different ways. Some were just like, yeah, it's crazy. Oh, whatever. Other ones were like, I knew those guys. Like I knew them personally. And so impacting a lot of different ways. If when that first student came with a gun and all the teachers were prepared knowledgeably, this is exactly what we should do because we've literally done this many times over, it would have been different. And I think it would have been very interesting. It could have been different.
You can never say one thing would happen or wouldn't
That's
happen,
very true.
Because there's a billion different variables that go into everything. But if there's a tool that we can use that could possibly help a situation, we should not shy away from it.
Agreed.
Yeah.
So let us know what you guys think about that. Let us know what you think about just video games in schools in general, different ways to teach via interactive mediums like video games. Yeah. Also, specifically tell us what you think about this new, again, program, quote unquote, game that puts teachers into the situation of a school shooting, and let us know what your opinion is on that. Do you think it's inappropriate? Do you think they should proceed with a greater program, something that's going to do even more?
Yeah. What if we went into VR with that?
Oh gosh, that would be intense.
Yeah, it would.
That would be real intense. Yeah. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. Thank you for sharing our podcast. Hey, if this is something that's new to you and shocking to you, go look it up. Educate yourself is something that we always say, as well as, hey, share this. Talk to some people about it.
You've probably had ways that you think video games could be useful in schools right now. Like if we had this in video game form, I would be more interested.
That's right.
What would that be? Tell us about it. If you have any other things that you'd like us to discuss, we love talking about these types of things.
We really do.
Bring it up to us.
Yep.
We don't see every news article and all that stuff. So thanks for listening, guys.
Yep. And remember, save games, save lives.
And see you later.